A very good evening to all our viewers. It's Sunday, the 7th of July 2019, and welcome to a brand new edition of News First Weekend. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
A special purpose aircraft capable of carrying out ground surveillance up to 1,000 meters arrives at the BIA. The aircraft to remain in the country for 3 days. State Minister of Defense seeks explanation from the Defense Secretary regarding the US Senate members inspecting lands in Mailidi. Attention of the Security Committee also drawn towards the matter. Prime Minister speaks of those who filed judicial action against the state lands Special Provisions Bill. Minister Sajid's promise.
මම දියුරල පොරොන්දු වෙනවා 24 පැයම 365 දවසෙම පොදු ජන සේවකයා බවට පත්වන්නට මම ලෑස්තියි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
The JVP march against the government reaches Muratua.
And now the story is in detail. Reports have emerged that a special purpose aircraft has landed at the Bandaranaike International Airport.
This special aircraft, the Basler BT-67 aircraft from Spectrum Air ZS ASN, is fitted with one of the advanced fixed-wing airborne systems capable of ground surveillance and has the ability to simultaneously map shallow and deep features up to 1,000 meters. According to the Civil Aviation Authority, this special aircraft has landed at the BIA for transit purposes for 3 days. It is bound for India on the 9th of July. This aircraft has arrived in the country from Indonesia. It is important to note that the flight path of this aircraft from Indonesia to Colombo falls over the country. If, as claimed, the aircraft arrived from Indonesia, it would have flown across Sri Lanka in order to land at the BIA. Newsfirst inquired the matter from the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau. However, the Mines Bureau claimed that they were unaware of the arrival of such an aircraft and noted that they had not granted permission for any surveying activity to be carried out in the country.
Through a magnetometer fixed on an aircraft, we can inspect the mineral resources in the area. This could be done by a developed country as well as an undeveloped country. This can also be used to spy on mineral resources in other countries. As an example, the issues in Afghanistan are related to the rare earth element in Afghanistan. When compared to other countries, Sri Lanka possesses many mineral resources.
The Ceylon Today reported that the US government had proposed additional projects for Sri Lanka under the USD 480 million Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact.
The Ceylon Today says that through the MCC Compact grant, it had provided data to be entered into the government's State Lands Information Management System, or eSLIMS, worth $23.4 million for the purpose of a cadastral map of land parcels and an inventory of state land. This proposal had been made free of charge, according to Ceylon Today. The Ceylon Today adds that the proposal had been shot down by the president. Meanwhile, the Sunday Times reported that security companies in the United States are looking for personnel in Sri Lanka. This comes against a backdrop where the AXA and the SOFA agreements are receiving heavy criticism. Sallyport, a US firm, offers a comprehensive range of global, protective, security and mission support solutions to the United States government, foreign allied governments and a wide range of private and commercial clients. Sallyport also has special responsibilities as a US government contractor. Among many job offers, Sallyport are looking for personnel for positions of cleared American Guard and construction surveillance technicians in Sri Lanka. On its website, the job vacancy for the position of cleared American Guard says the cleared American Guard is professionally trained to protect the security integrity of the construction site and responsible for protection of building materials, furniture, fixtures and other items. It added that CAGs will perform access control functions at all vehicle and pedestrian entrances to the site on a 24/7 basis throughout the construction or project period. The vacancy for the position of construction surveillance technician says the CST will monitor, observe and interact with the construction workers as they accomplish their various tasks to preclude the introduction of electronic, electrical, mechanical, or any other type of hostile surveillance monitoring devices into finished construction. Sallyport offers these jobs full-time and hourly.
They betrayed the entire country for just $480 million. They have signed agreements with Singapore. Even the smallest thing could be brought to Sri Lanka. They have sold the country to the international community. Nothing can stop the downfall of the country if this agreement cannot be cancelled. The SOFA agreement itself is 80 pages long. Those 80 pages are not in favor of Sri Lanka. All of it is for the international community. They did the same thing to Palestine. This is why Israel gave security even to the smallest country. This is the biggest nation that has captured all other nations.
Meanwhile, State Minister of Defence Ruwan Wijewardene says that the Security Committee will look into the visit of the two US senators who carried out an inspection in Mailiti, Jaffna. The minister expressed these views answering the questions posed by journalists in Biyagama.
We did not get to know about the inspection of lands as of yet. But we were informed that a few people have visited that area. I discussed this with the Defense Secretary as well. I have given instructions to look into this further and inform me promptly. An explanation to that will be given by this evening, because the Security Council headed by the President will convene today. I think this matter will be discussed there. Yes, foreign nationals cannot take lands from our country just like that. There is a particular rule for that. The Security Council will discuss about that today. At the meeting, we will get to know what exactly has happened there.
Now, Newsfirst reported about two US Senate officers arriving in Mailiti, Jaffna to inspect lands and the fisheries harbour, violating the standard procedure. Following are the views expressed in the political arena by the ruling party as well as the opposition in this regard.
Sri Lanka has now become the 52nd state of the United States. An AXA agreement containing 83 pages has been signed today. According to the copy of the SOFA agreement that has been sent from the US, an agreement will come to light between the two parties by sending a letter that will agree with the details mentioned. If by any chance a secretary has sent a letter saying that Sri Lanka agrees with the details, that means SOFA has been signed already. We still don't know whether the Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact has been signed or not. If a businessman in Colombo purchases a property of coconut from Chilao, he occasionally visits the land he purchased. He will check whether the trees are well grown, whether the trees have the right amount of coconuts, and whether the guardian of the property attends his duties properly. He will inspect the property now and then. Likewise, the Americans will inspect not only Jaffna, but the whole country in the coming months. We saw how Sirasa TV revealed information about this. Now the governor of Jaffna says that he was not informed of this in any way. But according to the additional divisional secretary of Jaffna, he had received a phone call as to two US senators will be arriving to carry out these inspections. But who allowed these senators to carry out these inspections and who made the phone call to the additional divisional secretary remains a mystery. Who is the powerful force behind all of this? Who allowed these things to happen? Even though we blame the foreign nations, 70% of our exports are purchased by Europe and the US. Everyone needs to understand that. Any foreign national can purchase properties from Sri Lanka, but a 300% tax should be paid. Please learn the law. You don't know the law. The UNP should come up with an explanation as to who is instructing this to be done, who is coming, how are they coming, and the manner in which this is being carried out. I believe that the general public is getting ready to ensure the safety of the nation, preventing yet another betrayal on the brink of this election.
Deputy Leader of the United National Party says the foreign policies should be made based on the national agenda and not on the agenda of the leaders. He made these statements at an event held in Mathura today.
කොහොමද අපි අපේ විදේශ
I personally believe that when formulating foreign policy, when making foreign relations, when implementing international deals, we have to consider both profit and loss to our country. It should not be the agenda that the leader or leaders believe in. It needs to match the country's national agenda. Through profit and loss analysis, we should be able to come to a right decision. In the name of my father, I promise that as soon as I get an opportunity, I will be the public servant who serves the 22 million people of this country 24/7, and I am ready to take up this responsibility.
පොදු ජන සේවකයා බවට පත්වන්නට මම ලෑස්තියි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
The minister made this statement during the event organised to launch the book titled Mangala Samaraveera, authored by Nihal Jagat Chandra. The book was launched to mark Minister Mangala Samaraveera's 30 years in politics.
I raise this question as a Sri Lankan. I want to work with my fellow Sri Lankans to resolve this conflict within the framework of a united, undivided, indivisible Sri Lanka. That will be the best thing for Sri Lanka. Do our people have to continuously endure a poor quality of life on account of the follies of those who govern them?
The first high zone of agriculture production planning commenced in Udaipura, Ohana today. The event was held under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Ministers Daya Gamage, Gayantha Karunatilaka and several other ministers and MPs attended the event. The group attended the event to distribute land deeds held in line with the national program to distribute 1 million land deeds.
There's a large number of farmers today. They are the reason why the agriculture industry is moving forward. But you don't have the ownership. That's why we compiled the Land Special Provisions Bill with the approval of the Cabinet. It was approved and gazetted. The Minister presented it to the Parliament afterwards. They are now going to courts to stop this. It is not an issue. But we suggest that you take to the streets to show support. We can't just give up on this fight.
Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa spoke about the State Land Special Provisions Bill in Kurunegala today.
This government is bringing in draft bills in a hurry and are trying to pass them. The president of the country is saying that he will not allow it. He said so to us. Then we told the president that this is just a minor matter. I have been president, you just have to tell the Secretary of Lands, cancel this with a gazette. The problem is solved. There is no need to consult the cabinet.
The protest march organised by the Janata Vimukti Peramana to mark their no-confidence motion against the government commenced in Kalutara this morning.
The protest march, titled Padasatana, was organised to oust the government that sacrificed the nation's security, commenced from the Kalutara city centre. The group included leader of the JVP Anurakumara Disanayaka, members of the party's Central Working Committee and trade union activists affiliated to the JVP took part in the protest.
We have brought forward a no-confidence motion to the Parliament. Our aim here is to gather people in support of this. We hope to debate on the no-confidence motion on the 10th and the 11th of this month. We hope to win this no-confidence motion and defeat the government. Thereby, we hope to give the people an opportunity to appoint a new government.
The protest march reached Moratuwa via Vadua this afternoon. The march concluded following a public meeting in Moratuwa. The protest march will travel from Moratuwa to Nugegoda tomorrow, and a rally is to be held in Nugegoda at 3 in the afternoon.
Due to the prevailing dry weather condition, the country's agriculture sector is facing a great danger. A severe dry weather condition is affecting several parts of the island, including north, north-central, eastern and northwestern provinces. Apart from this, the recently activated southwestern monsoons did not bring a considerable amount of rain to the southwestern parts of the country. Accordingly, the island has not received a considerable amount of rain. The Department of Agriculture points out that due to this situation, the country's agriculture sector is facing serious issues. The Department of Agriculture warns that many parts of the island will continue to be battered by the dry weather for the next few months as well. Meanwhile, the data from the Disaster Management Centre confirms that around 450,000 individuals from 17 districts are affected by the prevailing dry weather condition. Deputy Director of the DMC, Pradeep Kodipilli, said that among them, North, North Central, along with Puttlam and Kurunagal districts are the worst affected. As per the data from the Irrigation Department, 14,000 small tanks have dried up, while the water levels of the 73 reservoirs that come under the Agriculture Department has reduced to 25%. Journalists questioned several senior members of the United National Party about the presidential election candidacy.
There are discussions within the party these days. We are making decisions that will bring us victory at the presidential election. We will present someone who will win. We don't worry about who they will present.
දිනන ජොකියා අපි දානවා. එයාලගේ ජොකියා කවුරු වුණත් අපිට මොකෝ. දිනන ජොකියා කියන්නේ කන්ට්‍රි අකුමාරතුංග මැතිණිගේ පුතානේ.
Media knows more about who, when and what. I don't know. I'll accept if you tell me.
මම දන්නේ නැහැ. ඔබ කියනවා නම් මම පිළිගන්නවා.
No, there's nothing. The working committee will convene to decide who the presidential candidate is. A survey is also being done island-wide to ascertain who will obtain the most number of votes for UNP. We will make a suitable decision. We found a good candidate for the previous elections.
Also in local news, addressing a media briefing held in Colombo today, parliamentarian Udayagamman Pilla made the following statement regarding the opposition's presidential election plan.
We would like to build the broadest alliance that can beat the UNP. The most popular person should be the presidential candidate and the prime ministerial candidate. Other positions can be discussed later. President Maithripala Sirisena should be given a special place. We were open about this. The Pivithuru Hela Urume always told the presidential candidate should be Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the prime minister should be Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Convening a media briefing today, the National Movement for Consumer Rights Protection revealed that 92-octane petrol sold in the market is actually 90.5 octane.
A sample obtained by the Consumer Affairs Authority has been sent for inspection. The report has revealed that the 92-octane is actually 90.5. Who should be held responsible for this? The Consumer Affairs Authority has not taken any action against this. We suspect that it is this petrol all the companies sell for a higher price. Prices of 95-octane and 92-octane are different. Euro 4 and Euro 5 have different prices. We think they sell the same petrol in different prices. A proper investigation should be conducted in this regard.
Parliamentarian Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa responded to the statement made by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe in Ampara that was aired a short while ago.
What are the Niganteos and the rogues who broke into banks who are providing leadership to the UNP doing at present? A draft bill was included in the agenda of the Parliament, the Land Bill. Whose wants are they fulfilling? The Prime Minister brought this forward to drag the thousands of farming families onto the streets. The signature of the Land Minister was obtained forcibly. Kanta Karunatilaka was intimidated. I state this with responsibility. I saw the Prime Minister, I think he was speaking in Ampara, when he said that the people should take to the streets against those who took the bill to the Supreme Court. I ask him, we will show you how the people will chase you on the road with broomsticks if you hold an election, whatever the election may be. You will not be spared even if you travel in your bulletproof vehicle in the next few days. If you can, find a vehicle that is lightning proof. Hambantota was given to the Chinese. That is why we were bombed on the 21st of April. Everyone is afraid to speak of this. There are only several locations in the world that can affect the functions of the whole world. One such place is Hambantota. Since the Chinese came here, the Americans want it, the Indians want it, and so do the Europeans. Everyone wants a piece of this. The American ambassador is above the president and the prime minister of this country.
The promotional tour of the Abhimanwaram Scholarship Program, jointly powered by Anchor and the Champions Network, kicked off for the 6th consecutive day today, mainly aiming Trincomalee and Matale districts.
The promotional tour, the Abhimanwaram Scholarship Program, kicked off in Trincomalee today. It was held in the Sri Dharmapala Dhamma School, Sri Bodhirajaramaya, China Harbour, Kinya and Abdul Majid Vidyalaya. The blessings of the Mahasangha was received for the scholarship program. Another phase of the promotional tour was held in the Matale district. School children and parents were educated at several locations in Dambulla and Naula areas. The 7th phase of the promotional campaign for the Abhimanwaram Scholarship Program 2019 will take place in Vaunia and Kurunegala districts tomorrow.
Well, up next is a look at Action TV.
A group of representatives of the Finance for Australian Exporters, an Australian government agency, have arrived in the country. They have arrived for the purpose of inspecting and assessing the farms that have been established under the first phase of the project carried out by the Ministry of Rural Economic Development to import dairy heifers into the country. This particular project that commenced in the year 2017 under a loan of $73 million obtained from a Dutch commercial bank was at the center of controversy. As per an agreement between the said ministry and an Australian company, 20,000 pregnant cows should be imported into the country by next year. 5,000 dairy heifers were imported on 2 occasions under the first phase of the project and were handed over to 67 dairy farmers. Out of the 67 farms that were established in this manner, only 1 dairy farm is receiving the adequate harvests to make an earning that is break-even. This matter was revealed at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry as well. According to veterinarians who are currently attached to the Department of Animal Production and Health, as well as several veterinarians who were previously attached, the remaining heifers out of the 5,000 that were brought down and the remaining calves of these heifers are a threat to the cattle population of our country. Against such a backdrop, the representatives of the Australian Government Agency are only planning to inspect 15 out of the 67 farms. The document released by the ministry further proves this point.
Farm 67ක් තියෙනවා.
There are 67 farms. They have selected 15 farms for this inspection. Doesn't that mean that there are only 15 functioning farms out of the 67? The remaining farms have closed down, or are now bankrupt, or the animals are dead. I state this with responsibility. The truth will prevail.
ඔය අයට එළිය නටන්න වෙනවා.
There are around 20 farms who have now been closed as a result of this. This project has actually ruined the Sri Lankan dairy industry. And to date, the actions taken by the Ministry of Rural Economic Development is nowhere close to what the expectations of these entrepreneurs. And also, it's sad to say, this government who are talking a lot about entrepreneurship has not done real justice for entrepreneurs.
The dairy farmers are now helpless after coming forward and investing a substantial amount of money for this project. Is the government attempting to continue to import the remaining 15,000 heifers after carrying out these so-called inspections? Secretary to the President, this is over to you.
But strike actions are not something new to the people of Sri Lanka. We leave you tonight with views expressed by Brother Charles Thomas on these strike actions that hamper the day-to-day lives of the general public. Good night.
Lee Kuan Yew developed the Singapore Air. When strike actions were launched, he mentioned only one thing. He said, "First, do your job. Then let's discuss your issues." He offered to give a short period of time to make a decision. He reminded one thing. He said he will not close this down just because you left. He will get more people to join and continue operations. Within an hour, they decided to report to work. This is what needs to be done in our country. The doctors launched strikes. They refused to treat patients. In Japan, they wrap their arm with a black band. If they treat 10 patients today, they will have 20 patients tomorrow. That's how they demand the government to increase their salaries. Ours isn't like that. They launch strike actions and the patients die. The patient then curse the doctor. Buses launch strike actions. When this happens, ministers and the president of this country have a huge issue about sending children to school and going to parliament. Are the 225 in the parliament burdened by this? Who is burdened? The innocent general public of this country. Otherwise, this country should be a paradise for the number of times they protested around the Lipton roundabout. All what they have is petty political agendas.